taking over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast.
And we are back, Ferrall, coast to coast, here on a Thursday, hour number 3, here with you. Of course, we have a lot of golf going on. We're watching the Arnold Palmer with Shane Lowry, the Irish Bear, now in the lead after that eagle. A couple of other guys at 3 under getting involved too. But we have LIV starting tonight. That's right, on the East Coast, 11 o'clock East, West Coast, 8 o'clock Pacific, because they are in Hong Kong. They'll be over there in the Far East for the next couple of weeks. Brady Cannon is with us, of course, whenever we have LIV picks to get things cooking. Brady, good to see you as always, my man. And before we do get to the LIV, me and you talked on the radio show last night. We both liked Justin Thomas, obviously, this week, a couple other guys. I got to tell you, I was cursing him 4 over through 4, but he's fought back pretty well here, Brady, to get himself in position for to not get blown out of the water. He's back in the mix now to even par.
Well, I tell you what, there's still a lot of wind up there out in Orlando, but I think these guys in the afternoon wave have caught a little bit of a break. It's not a glaring break, but I think the wind was more brutal in the morning wave, in the neighborhood of 20, 25 mile an hour gusts, and it's starting to die down just a hint here in the afternoon. So, you're seeing a couple of opportunities here for eagles on the 16th hole. We didn't see that as much in the morning. So, it's probably about a 5, maybe even 10 mile an hour difference in wind in some cases. And that obviously makes a difference for professional golfers. So these guys in the late wave catching a little bit of a break, not huge, but you're seeing some scores improve.
Well, look, there's the morning guys, a lot of them got smashed. I mean, we saw some guys, 7s, 8s. Homa 9, a 10 for Cameron Forever Young. There was some guys who really got beat up. But some of those guys haven't been playing well either, Brady. So it's not just the weather. You've got a few guys in that mix that have
no
not
doubt
been
about
good. Tonight, LIV back as they go to Hong Kong. Of course, this is the second year in a row that they're going to be there. Abraham Answer was a winner there a year ago. Good field, as always, with LIV. Tell me a little bit about this course that they're going to be playing at here for the second year in a row.
Yeah, the Hong Kong Golf Club, and this course has been around for decades. It's right there with Augusta National as far as golf courses around the world that have consistently held a tour event, for so many years. It is at the top of the list right there with Augusta National. So this one has been around on the European tour for decades. It's a very congested, shorter golf course, and that's where I landed on being accurate off the tee. It's not particularly long. It's a par 70, only 6,700 yards, but very narrow off the tee. So you've got to be really accurate off the tee, and then you have to be dialed in with your irons and your wedges. And so I went after guys, that have that type of game, accurate players off the tee that can stuff it in there with the iron, and then you hope to get a hot putter for a few days. But it's certainly not a course. And you look at last year, you talk about Abraham Answer. He's proof in the pudding, one of the most accurate drivers of the golf ball in the world, and he came out on top. Interesting to note, though, that Bryson DeChambeau also had a pretty good finish, I believe a top 10, last year for LIV Hong Kong. And obviously he's a bomber, but it's really not a bomber's track. And so I gravitated towards the more accurate, shorter hitters. And I know you and I both landed on Sergio Garcia, who happens to be ranks number 2 on the LIV circuit in driving accuracy.
He does. Bryson T6 last year at Hong Kong for the LIV. And there was a 3-way tie. They had a 3-way playoff last year. Answer beat Paul Casey and Cameron Smith in that playoff a year ago. Let me give you, of course, now the LIV, look, it's really the same every tournament, Brady, when it comes to who's the chalk at the top.
Yeah, right.
The course doesn't really matter. You know that John Rahm and Neiman and Hatton and Bryson are going to be those guys that are going to be the favorites. And there it is right there. Rahm plus 550. 50. And Neiman kind of right there behind him. Some of those guys slipping down. You know, that Brooks number's been getting a little bigger and bigger each week. I mean, you get DJ now in like the 60s on LIV. He's fallen so far down the board. You mentioned we both like Sergio Garcia. Tell me a little bit more with Sergio and the rest of the guys that you're taking here this weekend.
Well, I told you that this course has been around for a long, long time. In fact, Ian Poulter has won here before back in 2010. Patrick Reed won here. It's been a part of the European Tour, the Asian Tour. Patrick Reed won here. Henrik Stenson is a guy that I took a long look at, because he's so accurate off the tee, a ball striker with the irons. But Sergio was the guy I landed on because he's been here a couple times in the past as a member of the European Tour, finished as high as 6th in the past. I mentioned 2nd on the LIV circuit in driving accuracy, 9th in birdie average, 4th in scrambling, which I love, and 4th in putting average. And he just comes off of a 6th place finish in Riyadh, when they were in Saudi Arabia a few weeks ago. That was the first event of the LIV season. The one coming after that was in Australia in Adelaide, but a 6th place finish for Sergio to begin the LIV season. So the form looks good. The stats look good. And he's got experience on this golf course. The next guy I went with was Anirban Lahiri at 40-1, who's another accurate driver of the golf ball, 11th on the LIV Tour in driving accuracy. And then just like Sergio, 9th in birdie average, 4th in scrambling, 10th in putting average, and actually comes off of 2 really good finishes, a 12th in Riyadh and a 7th in Adelaide. So Anirban Lahiri was my second choice at a big number, 40-1. And then I went double that to 80-1 for the former Florida Gator, the Englishman, Sam Horsfield, who had been battling injury, for pretty much the entire year last year on the LIV circuit. But I had my eye on this guy for a long time. He's got a high ceiling, very talented player. 14th in birdies, 11th in scrambling, 4th in putting. He was 7th in his last start in Adelaide, also 12th in Riyadh, and he gained strokes in Adelaide. He gained over a stroke on the field with the irons on approach. So, that was one of the keys I looked at this week. So there's my 3, Horsfield, Sergio, and Lahiri. We'll see if we can get one home.
I've got 4 this week, Brady. Obviously, I'm with you on Sergio, 22-1. Funny thing is, Sergio and Lahiri, that was that playoff in Spain last year. That was who Sergio beat in
Similar
the playoff.
type of course, too.
Maybe we can get them both in the playoff again this week.
We'll
Brady.
take it, man.
I know you would like that if we could get there. I am going to go 1 chalk this week. I like Bryson at 10-1. He's kind of slipped behind these other guys. This seems like the type of course where Bryson, like you said, top 10 last year, a place that he could play very well on. Paul Casey lost in the playoff last year. I'll go back to him at 33. And my bomb this week, Brady, Brandon Grace played well last week in that DP stop down in South Africa. He's been okay recently, 95-1, pretty deep shot, but I'm going to take a little stab with the Grace man here.
Well, you bring up Bryson, and I mentioned this is not a bomber's paradise, this golf course, but he can club down and hit irons and driving irons and 3 woods. He's very accurate. So he ranks actually high on the LIV circuit in driving accuracy as well. So I don't mind that play, even though he is a bomber, of course.
Brady, let's get it going here in Hong Kong this week. And we're back next week, Singapore. They make both stops here, 2 weeks in a row for LIV. Hopefully we're meeting next week with a winner, preferably Sergio Garcia for both of us. Let's go and get that done. Brady Canada on Coast.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, that's your boy, the Las Vegas golfer. I love that dude. Brady Cannon getting involved. Little LIV Hong Kong styling, tickets cashing even in the Far East. That's what I like on C2C. Now let's get into these hockey games. Everybody loves hockey.
We do have a lot of hockey games tonight. By the way, Wyndham Clark and Shane Lowry both 4 under here.
Whoa.
As we're getting towards the end. Now, the Irish Bear, I think he's in trouble on 18. I saw him smash one into the trees in the right, so we'll see if he can get out of that. All right, Utah in Detroit tonight against the Red Wings. We will start there. And how about this? Utah, I got him now up to minus 130. Favorites in Detroit tonight with the Red Wings plus $110 at home. 6.5 is the total.
Yeah, they've been playing really good, haven't they? I mean, but those games were all in Utah. I can't turn away from the Red Wings. They're in it, and they're, wild card city. So give me the Red Wings at Little Sleezers at home.
Yeah, that's go with the Red Wings tonight. Sabres are in Tampa against the Lightning. Some lumber here, minus 250 the Lightning are up to, plus 210 for the Sabres, and a 6.5.
I think Tampa's going to smoke their ass. I'm laying a goal and a half at plus $1.05.
Blue Jackets in Florida against the Panthers. Another heavy lumber game. I got Florida now clicking 3 bills, minus 300 for this one. Jackets plus 250, 6.5 here as well.
I've done it before. Give me the Jackets plus a goal and a half at even money. Why
Jackets
not?
Tonight. Yeah. The Jets, who lost at the horse track the other night, now they're in Philadelphia against the Flyers. They're road favorites again. I got minus $1.40 now, plus 120 for Philadelphia, and a 5.5.
Yeah, I don't think they lose again. I think they're a one-loss pony, not back-to-backs. Give me the Jets.
Bruins in Carolina. And the Bruins are another team to watch between now and tomorrow afternoon. There's talk of them selling off a bunch of their pieces. Carlo, Geeky, a few others that have been with that team for a long time. We'll see what happens. But they're getting some big numbers tonight. Hurricanes minus 280. I'm even seeing it at 340 now, even bigger. Plus 270 for the Bruins and 5.5.
Yeah, I'm still willing to puck line this with the Canes here as well. I think the Bruins stink.
The Kraken are in Nashville against the Predators. Predators, slight favorite, a little bit more than slight, minus 130 now. Plus 110 for Seattle, 5.5.
I like the Predators at home tonight, even though their season's in the toilet.
Their season is in the toilet. There's no doubt about that. They are having an awful year. The Flames are in Dallas against the Stars. Minus 245 for Dallas, plus 198 for the Flames, and then a 5.5.
I kind of like that Flames plus a goal and a half at minus $1.25. I don't mind that price to get that goal and a half, and they're playing for their playoff lives, whereas Dallas doesn't have to sweat it. Dallas the other night, they won with 4 seconds left by a goal. Like they're playing like they're already in it. They don't have to worry about it. Calgary has to play their ass off. I like Kadri to cover that goal and a half.
Montreal is in Edmonton tonight against the Oilers. Oilers minus 260, Habs plus 210, and a 6.5.
Yeah, I'm puck lining the Oilers. They're going to win this game. They had a brutal trip. They finally got a win out of it before they came home. Now they're home, and they're going to take it out on everybody that plays them in that building.
And finally, the heaviest lumber of the night is the San Jose Sharks in Colorado. Now, the Sharks have won a couple games on the road in a row. They won in Toronto, one in Buffalo. They're trying for 3 in a row on the road in Colorado. Minus 420 for the Avalanche, plus 320 for the Sharks at a 6.5.
Sharks playing with all kinds of confidence. They won a couple of big games on the road. I'm going to take the goal and a half with San Jose at plus 130 at the Ball Arena. The Avs will not take them seriously at all, and the Sharks will make this a game too.
Sharks have been they've been spunky lately, the Sharks.
And I was just going to say spunky.
Spunky. Celebrini's been playing well too. He's been scoring some goals for them. So there you go. That is your night in hockey.
Everybody loves hockey.
For us. And that trade deadline, I wanted to see exactly what time tomorrow that is. That is going to be 3 o'clock East.
3
so
o'clock.
right when we come on for C2C is when they should be closing the doors for all those NHL trades. So hopefully we got a couple good ones when we start the show tomorrow afternoon. All right, I got lots of NFL to do with you. Let me try to get a few things in here. You're going to talk to Adam in a bit. He's got a lot for you as well. The Chargers released Joey Bosa. That's going to save him $25.4 million on the salary cap. Joey Bosa is a good player, Sky. The problem is he never plays.
Right.
That's really what it comes down to. He doesn't play, and that's. At the end of the day, you're taking a chance. Now you're going to get him a lot cheaper than the Chargers were paying him, but it's very risky with him. He's never out there.
Yeah, so he's not worth the money, and they got rid of him. They released him. They're just not interested in watching him never play. So buyer beware. And
Buyer
right, like
beware
his
for
brother's isn't his brother better?
Yes, Nick's better now. No, but he has his times where he doesn't play either. Nick. So they both get that. Not as much as Joey. Joey's missed a lot of time.
I don't want anything to do with him. If I'm you, we talked about it earlier. If you can get your hands on this guy from the Bengals in Buffalo, that's what I would do.
Yeah, the problem with them getting him is he wants a huge extension. That's going to cost a lot of money that they don't have. And I think that's where they're going to be out of the running on a situation like that. What's his name,
the kid in Cincinnati? Did I get it right?
Hendrickson, Trey Hendrickson, yes.
I got it
who
right.
we said earlier is going to be allowed to seek a trade. So we'll come back and I'll give you a couple more things before Adam.
which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday Inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99 199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
You remember that D-Gen room? Honestly, I've never been around dollar hot dogs. I want to kill myself. That was the worst. The views expressed on this show are not necessarily those of its co-host or host. All inquiries can be made to. Never mind. Keep going with the NFL before the red phone rings.
The 49ers also are going to try to clear some money out. Defensive tackle Javon Hargrave going to be chopped. He's going to be released out there. The Cowboys restructured Dak Prescott. They've opened up $36.6 million in cap space.
That's all he's worth. He's not worth $60 million. He's worth 36. He's crap. He should be paid 36. He's a crappy quarterback that never wins.
Pay him 36.
He never wins games that matter. Excuse me. He wins all the games that don't matter. He's like Mike Tomlin. Sorry, I wanted to get that straight.
Correct. The Rams and wide receiver Tutu Atwell agree on a 1-year, $10 million deal. I think I saw all of that's guaranteed, too. A lot for a guy that they basically didn't use last year. But when they did, he performed. So I guess with Kupp going out, they're going to have a lot more Tutu Atwell being involved. The Browns restructured Deshaun Watson's deal again. They freed up more cap space. That's like the 9th time they've restructured Deshaun Watson's
The worst
contract.
deal in NFL history.
They'd like to restructure that into the garbage can. Is what they'd like to do with Deshaun Watson's contract. They wish that they could burn that up. Texans wide receiver.
They probably hope that he tears another Achilles so they can keep getting
probably
insurance.
At some point get some insurance on it. Texans wide receiver Tank Dell undergoes his second knee surgery since that awful injury he had in December. He's it said in the story he could miss all of 2025. I'll go out and I'll play doctor here today. He will miss all of 2025. I don't think he'll play. He's had a couple knee surgeries in the span of 3 months. That's going to take a little while for Tank. Hopefully he does come back, though, at some point and play some NFL football.
They should go get Cooper Kupp.
I've heard they're in on everybody. They're in on DK Metcalf. They're in on every wide receiver. Diggs did. They're going to get everybody. Just like last year when they got Diggs. They're going to get everybody down in Houston. Dolphins and Bradley Chubb reworked the contract to reduce his base salary. Longtime Packers kicker Mason Crosby retired. Steelers and linebacker Cole Holcomb agree to a revised contract to clear $4 million in space. He hasn't even played in a year and a half.
Since I had
November
heart surgery,
23.
he caused my heart attack.
The last time Cole played was all the way back then. So we'll see how that goes.
He can actually play. He was a badass when he played.
Yes, he was. And hopefully, the story said that he's going to be good to go for this year. Training camp, offseason, the whole deal.
He's too
Cole's
white.
going to be back in the mix for the Steelers for that. Some baseball things for you. Giancarlo Stanton will rejoin the Yankees this weekend in Tampa. He had a second round of PRP injections in both of his elbows. Cashman said, it doesn't look like we're going to need surgery. That's a long shot. You know what that means. You might as well schedule it for mid-May right now. You just know that it's coming down the pike. It's going to happen. And that's where he'll be out for like the year.
I'm a big fan, as you know, of PRP, and I think that platelet rich works, and I hope he went and did it illegally in Canada. Like everybody else does.
Did not have the location of the PRP injections. He said he was in New York, so we'll see how that went for him. If you have enough money, I guess it is allowed. You are allowed to do it here. If you have enough money, it can be done. Bryce Harper's willing to go back to the outfield if the Phillies want to pursue a star first baseman, a.k.a. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That's basically, let's just call it like it is. He's saying if they want to get Vlad, I'll move back to the outfield. We don't have to dance around. That's the name that he's talking about.
I think that's a huge mistake. He will get injured playing in the outfield as sure as I'm sitting here, and he needs to stand at first base and rub his onions and do nothing but catch balls across the infield and in the dirt. That's it. He goes out in that outfield. I guarantee you that guy's taking 3 months off a year. Guaranteed.
I will show you the renderings for the Portland MLB people in the leftovers. And tomorrow I'll give you all of these odds. I've got some skiing stuff, MVP, win totals. I got a lot of MLB stuff that we'll do tomorrow. But I'll give you the Portland stadium renderings in leftovers. We'll save that for there.
Can't wait to see the stadium that they're never going to build because they're not getting a team.
They're never going to Portland. They are never going to give Portland an MLB team. It's not happening.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like I just don't get how he is still employed. We gotta talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
was just voted the NFL Reporter of the Year at the Combine in Indianapolis. Back again is Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider, the best in the business, almost 30 years covering the National Football League. And he ate at all the best restaurants in Naptown and covered the excitement of the NFL Combine. And here he is for a double shot on a Thursday, per usual. You can follow him at Kaplan NFL on X. All right, Adam, let's start with the Hendrickson situation. I have to tell you just off the top that their problem was defense last year, and he's the only guy on the entire defense that matters, and they're letting him walk. I mean, they must be stupid. I don't care what he wants financially. They have no defense without him.
Yeah, Scott, look, a couple things have happened this week with the Bengals defense. Sam Hubbard, their other starting defensive end, announced his retirement at 29, which is a surprise to a lot of people. But the big story is, and I'm going to get into this and explain to you how rare it is. The Bengals are a team, if you looked at the last 30 years, rarely make trades. They just don't like to do it. It's been a thing going from Paul Brown to his son Mike Brown to Duke Tobin, who oversees personnel for the Bengals. They just don't like to do it. But they did give Trey Hendrickson the permission to seek a trade. It doesn't mean they're going to do it, okay? Doesn't mean they're going to do it. But you make an astute point here. Their defense is horrific last season. They changed defensive coordinators. They're trying to recharge this defense. But here's the thing. They want to spend money on offense, not defense. Trey Hendrickson, who's in the final year of his deal, wants an extension. He signed a deal 3 years ago. Now, let's be honest, it's outdated. But the Bengals have rebuffed his wanting a new deal. They've not been open to it, and they've given him permission to seek a trade. Now, he does turn 31 in December. Sometimes, look, when you see these deals come out, and Max Crosby got a monster extension, okay? A monster extension. Wait to see what the Myles Garrett deal, whenever Myles Garrett gets his extension with the Browns or another team. But Trey Hendrickson now, who turns 31 late this coming season, deserves a new deal. But you got to be careful when you have an older player. Sometimes they drop off, Scott, as you know, in their early 30s or mid-30s, so you got to be careful. But he absolutely deserves more money. He's going to make $16 million this season, vastly underpaid. They're middle-of-the-road players at his position that are making more than him. And I know it bothers him. He wants a new deal. And the Bengals right now, I'm fascinated to see what happens here because, again, they don't like to make trades. And you make a really good point. They are so bad at defensive end. The only guy they've got left of any note is Miles Murphy.
He's awful.
A first-round pick. Right, he hadn't done anything. A first-round pick in 2023 out of Clemson, was overdrafted, no sacks last season, 2 years ago. The thought around the league was he should have been a second-round pick, not a first-round pick. I get it, Scott. They want to put their resources on offense, not defense. But if they're trying to compete, this is not the way to do it. And they're going to have to vote resources on their offensive line, which is still bad, by the way, and on defense. But again, they want to spend money. They've absolutely said they're going to take care of Jamar Chase. They're going to take care of our guy T. Higgins. I've yet to see that they put the franchise tag on him.
But they never do.
And they never do. I know. And by the way, one more thing I want to mention. I talked to Carl Pickens. Remember Carl Pickens?
Of course.
Who played for the Bengals, former first-round pick. I talked to Carl a couple weeks ago at a business event in Philly. He went through it. He went through his situation with the Bengals and all the losing and not being competitive. It grates on you. All their money, they're just with money and spending it and being good on one side of the ball and not the other side. It grates on you. It's really tough to play there. And here we are once again. Another guy wants out.
All right, let me go back. All right, I got to ask you a question. Now, I don't want to catch you off guard because I don't know how old they are. But do you know how old Crosby is and how old Garrett is? Because I'm going to say this right now. I think Hendrickson, to me, unequivocally had way better numbers than Max Crosby. He's a better player than Max Crosby. I think Max Crosby robbed a bank. I cannot believe the money they gave him. And I got to tell you, you talk about Myles Garrett. To me, he's as old as Hendrickson. At least I think he is. I don't know exactly how old he is, but Hendrickson has the same kind of he has the same kind of numbers. 2 years older. All right, fair enough. If anyone deserves the money, it's Hendrickson. And let me tell you something. They have played games, the Brown family, with T. Higgins since he's been a Bengal. And I've heard that they're even, they've rebuffed a bunch of trade offers for him. Well, then, for Christ's sakes, give him the money already. But to leave your defense that naked, I said earlier on the show, no pants. They have no pants. No one's wearing pants on the defense. They have, and Joe Burrow watched them last year give up 40 points a game, and he put up just staggering numbers. He beat my Steelers in the freezing cold in the last week, in week 18 or whatever it was. He can beat anybody. But not when your team plays every week and gives up 40 points. They're not going to spend any money on defense. Zach Taylor's getting fired, and they're going to stink.
All right, a couple things here. Myles Garrett turns 30 late this season. Max Crosby, here's what happened with Max Crosby. He had a high ankle sprain last year. He played on it. Instead of taking weeks off, he played on it. And yes, that's why his numbers were down. But yeah, they didn't need to take care of him. They did. It's an unbelievable deal that Max Crosby got. His extension that he got this week, according to his agency, $34.5 million per season is crazy. So yeah, you got the bag, the big bag. But the Bengals now, with Al Golden being their new defense coordinator, Lou Anarumo is out. He switched teams. Now he's went to the Colts. They're a team that is hard to figure out. And you make a good point because, by the way, the Eagles not only paid A.J. Brown top of the market or close to it, they also paid Devontae Smith. This could get done, and they didn't make Devontae Smith have to wait for it.
I got to tell you, honestly, I think Anarumo wins going to Indy. He's better off there than Al Golden is walking into that den of iniquity with no talent.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, Scott. And they always seem to have turmoil. But you and I have talked about this now for 5 years. They've got to help Joe Burrow out. You can't put it all on him. Their offensive line was dreadful last season. They made the trade. They traded away Joe Mixon, which was a mistake. He was terrific for the Texans. Their team's got to figure it out. They're just not that competitive. Heck, your Steelers, despite all of their issues, are probably a better team, at least right now.
I mean, it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable to me. I'm going to have a stroke just even listening to this. All right, talk about the Seahawks with Metcalf, and then how about they announced, how does that get leaked the same hour they're supposed to be recognizing what Lockett did for the franchise for a decade as they let him go, but then Metcalf wants out. What a mess.
Yeah, and Tyler Lockett, one of the all-time great guys. You might remember his dad, Kevin Lockett, who played in the 90s and early 2000s. So, yeah, so Tyler Lockett still wants to play. They made this decision. He's a guy that you saw the regression a little bit last season. The offense, by the way, before we get to Metcalf, it went through Jackson Smith and Jigba, the first-round pick out of Ohio State from a couple years ago, and now they've changed offensive coordinators. You know what's really interesting here? Clint Kubiak, the new offensive coordinator, made it very clear. He was super excited to work with Metcalf. His role is going to be back to what it was about 2 years ago. But, Scott, the last 2 seasons, okay, it's really 3 years ago when Metcalf was great. Last 2 seasons, his numbers have been down here. Yet he wants more money. He's on the final year of his deal. These guys hate to play or go into their final season when guys like Justin Jefferson's making $34 million a season. Metcalf wants his. They're going to have plenty of interest in Metcalf. The Seahawks, if they're willing to trade him. And by the way, you want to talk a team that's barren at receiver right now? They trade Metcalf. All they've got is one guy, Smith and Jigba.
So what do? The draft and they get receivers?
It is I am told by multiple teams, it's a weak receiver draft. You can find a starter, but you're not getting the high-end starter. That's what this draft is at wide receiver.
God almighty, this is just unbelievable news today. We'll come back and talk about the Bears stacking their front for their quarterback, Caleb Williams.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? You giving the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. we're going to have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The WCC tournament going on at the Orleans in Sin City. Anyway, we're talking to Adam Kaplan, our NFL insider guru of choice. He's from lovely Philadelphia, of course. He's completely on the take for the Eagles. And why not with their second ring? We'll talk about them momentarily. But first, it's the Bears who are getting stacked up front for Caleb Williams. He was on his back more than a French hooker this year in Chicago. So they went out and got him some guys that can block for him, but they're aged vets. Could be dangerous.
Yeah. Well, yeah. You know, Scott, let's address the Joe Thuney situation. I know Chiefs fans are out of their mind. Why would they want to do this? Why would the Chiefs give up on one of the better guards in the league? Well, we have to understand, Scott, Joe Thuney is 32. You never want to wait too late to trade a guy who's in the twilight of his career. Joe Thuney, now, he's not a left tackle. He played left tackle in college, but he played left tackle in the Super Bowl because they were out of left tackles. It didn't go well. What's concerning is why are the Chiefs giving up a all-star type of player in Joe Thuney? Because he's older. Now he's going to the Chiefs. He's going to the Bears, right? And this trade will not be official till 4 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, but he'll pass the physical. It won't be a problem. The Bears' offensive line was dreadful. I know Caleb Williams held on the ball too long. Some of the sacks are clearly on him, be clear, but they had to address their offensive line. They have not gotten it right for two general managers, and it's been a long time since they've had a quality offensive line. Yeah, it is not good. So Joe Thuney will be their left guard. Now they traded for Jonah Jackson. Now here's the story with Jonah Jackson. He signed for $17 million a season last year coming over from the Lions. He was going to play center for them. He did. Then he got hurt and didn't get his job back, and he got benched. So they wanted to trade him. They found a trade partner, and they found him a trade partner with the Bears. He should be starting at guard. I'm told he's way better off at guard than at center, though, again, he could play center. So theoretically, they've got their two starting guards. I'm told they need a center, and they're going to bring in They're going to bring in some competition for Braxton Jones at left tackle. So they still have some work to do. One of the things that I learned at the Combine was they were going to be very aggressive in free agency and/or the draft. So they're not done yet. It's about building around that offensive line for that quarterback. And, of course, new head coach Ben Johnson, who came over from Detroit. And remember, he was with Jonah Jackson there. That's why they got him, because the two know each other. So they'll be reunited here, but they've got to rebuild that offensive line. And another thing, look for the Bears to be aggressive with the edge rush in free agency and or the draft. They're not good enough there. Their pass rush was quite frankly pathetic last season.
And what about Keenan Allen? Are they going to keep him so that Williams can throw to him? Or are they going to throw to the water boy and the ball boy? Who are they going to throw the ball to?
Well, Roma Dunze was the first rounder last year, and DJ Moore, they're two starting receivers. Keenan Allen, in the twilight of his career, Scott, by the way, he's a free agent. Keenan Allen is a number 3 receiver at this point of his career. He's a borderline Hall of Famer, a phenomenal football player, by the way.
He makes all the catches.
Awesome. He does. But he is a possession receiver. He's not a guy that he's made so much money. He's not well into his 30s now. He's not going to make a big free agent deal. But they need to add a third receiver. Cole Kmet's their tight end. This is a team, Scott, if they could ever get it right in free agency in the draft, with Ben Johnson being a pretty dynamic play caller and schemer offensively, they've got a chance. Because, every year we're looking for that surprise team. This could be it with the Bears. We'll talk more about them going forward, though.
Yeah, sure. All right, so I'll believe that when I see it. Now they got the hottest coach in the world. Let's see him win with that hack team. He was on the Lions, and they made him look real good. And you're going to find out real quick how good these guys are when they're with these crappy teams. And I'll tell you another one. That guy, Kellen Moore, he better enjoy oysters, because he's not going to enjoy that talent he's got on that hat team down in New Orleans.
I agree with you.
Let's talk about your Eagles. Saquon's deal. Did you like it or not? Yeah. I don't think he'll ever put up those numbers again. This was more of a reward for winning the Super Bowl and getting them another ring, to me.
I part of it, you're absolutely right, is a reward, because, Scott, quite frankly, if you look at the landscape at running back, Christian McCaffrey had been the highest paid running back since 2020. No one had come close to getting what he was making. Then McCaffrey, a couple years ago, got an adjustment at pay raise from the Niners. And Saquon was only making $12.5 million on the 3-year deal he signed with the Eagles. He was vastly underpaid. Very light money in terms of guaranteed money in year 3. And the Eagles, on your point, that's what they were doing. They were giving him peace of mind, giving him more guaranteed money up front. And look, you know it, Scott. He put the team on his back. I know their defense was great.
He did.
But they were not sniffing anything in the playoffs without Saquon Barkley. He was absolutely incredible. Super high character guy. And also Zach Bond. Scott, do you realize Zach Bond had never played inside linebacker in his life? Do you realize that? He was unbelievable.
I thought he was incredible.
The best inside backer in football this past season, better than Fred Warner. I didn't say he's better than Fred Warner overall, but he's better than Fred Warner last season.
He played better than Fred Warner did this year. He sure did. And that play in the Super Bowl was sickening.
Where that pick was incredible. But here's a couple things here, Scott, which people should realize. Free agency starts at 12 p.m. Eastern on Monday. Milt Williams, number 93. He's the best defensive player most fans have never heard of. He's going to make $21 million a season or more. You watch. There's a realistic chance he does not re-sign with the Eagles because, Scott, Jalen Carter, after the season, most likely will get an extension. In a couple of years, Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Nolan Smith, after the season, potentially can get an extension. You can't pay everybody. And Josh Sweat, number 19, who had 2.5 sacks in the Super Bowl, Scott, another guy likely will walk. You can't pay everybody. The Eagles will still get it done. Howie Roseman, the last 4 years in the draft, nobody drafting better, nobody better right now. He's turned his career around since the 2020 season. You got to trust Roseman with what he does. But again, folks, if you're an Eagles fan listening to us or watching us, you can't keep everybody. It's impossible in the salary cap era and in the cash era. But the Eagles will do whatever they can to keep this thing together.
I mean, they're already dangerous as they are, and the deals that they're doing are smart. And Roseman's the best in the business. I think they'll be in a good position again to go for another run. Adam, great stuff. Thank you. Good job at the Combine as well.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh, yeah, I think we've been there. We're going to have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Good game at that. Boyd Gaming, Orleans, and Sin City. The 16-15 early lead for the Toreros over Pacific early on in the desert. Anyway, everybody loves leftovers.
Everybody does love leftovers. Here we go. We got a bunch of things before I even get to the stuff I had planned. Number one, a couple football things with the Jaguars. They released tight end Evan Ingram, or as Giant fans would call him, Stone Hands. Don't throw with the stone hands, Evan Ingram. But also, remember I told you yesterday that they were going to also release outfielder Christian Kirk. Well, apparently before releasing him, the Houston Texans called and said, we'll take him off your hands, 6th-round pick. So Kirk is going to go to the Texans for a 6th-rounder. So there's another wide receiver for the Texans. One other thing from the that just came across my desk. We talked about Carolina tonight against Boston and how Carolina got that word from Rantanen that he's not going to sign there long term. Carolina is not going to play him tonight. He is out of the lineup. Not
there
dressing
you go. Bye-bye.
for that game against Boston. So you can take what you want from that maneuver by the Carolina Hurricanes, which probably means by 3 o'clock tomorrow, he's going to be gone. I would have to guess.
Watch him go to Vegas. Watch him go to Vegas and make them even better.
They get everybody. Well, you know what? Florida, now I don't think they would help Florida because Florida is who they're competing with, but Florida's just opened up $8 million of space with putting Kachuk on long-term IR. So they're pulling they got room to make a split. They would never trade him to Florida. They're competing to get to the Cup. All right, group looking to bring MLB team to Portland releases renderings for this stadium. Now, it looks beautiful. I mean, baseball on the water in Portland.
They have a parade
it looks
in
awesome.
that water every year. The Rose Parade, very nice.
I got news for you. They are never bringing an MLB team to Portland. Maybe 50 years from now, but they are not in the near future bringing a team to Portland.
But that stadium looks fantastic. Balls splashing into the water like San Francisco and Pittsburgh.
You know what? They should move Tampa there. Move one of these other teams there.
I agree. Move Tampa there.
Minor league stadium. Do something like that. Dan Lanning gets a new deal in Oregon. He will now average almost $11 million per year.
Must have been for that great job he did against Ohio State in the Rose Bowl.
Getting lit up in Pasadena. A new deal for Dan Lanning. Texas Tech opens up a new $242 million football building. It has inside of it a barbershop and a podcast studio. Yes.
You know,
I
love
a barbershop and a podcast.
Later podcast shows. I can't get enough.
College. I'll give you the college football quarterback power rankings tomorrow because I have to get to this. FIFA mulling expanding the World Cup in 2030 to 64 teams. You have got to be kidding me.
How bad will that be?
It's bad enough. They should have never got off 32, which was what they're doing for America next year. They're going to 40, 48 or whatever they're doing next year.
Jesus.
64. How long's the World Cup going to be? 2 months? They're going to take 2 months to finish the World Cup?
3 months.
Enough. I'm not even trying to pronounce that guy's name.
Turkey.
The boxing promotion. Yeah, your boy Turkey's in the mix with TKO for the boxing. Executive leadership will be led by Dana White and Nick Khan. And the WBC has ordered Dimitri.
They'll be able to, now they'll rip off the fighters like they do the MMA fighters.
Correct. WBC is ordering Bivol to defend his light heavyweight title against David Benavidez. So Benavidez, Bivol down there.
I'll go to that fight on PBC pay-per-view in Vegas. Yeah. The Monster against Bivol. Bivol beat him. He means business, dude.
Good
Bivol wins everything. Ferrall finish. Happy Gilmore 2 will be released on July 25th. More importantly, Carver High's birthday on the 28th, mine the 29th. That will be a big golf week. Police in Canada are investigating a 2014 Ontario Hockey League sexual assault allegation. How about this one? 8 hockey players allegedly raped one chick all night. This guy brought his girlfriend in the back room and let his whole team get involved with her, allegedly. Motley Crue suspends their plans for their residency to the fall in Vegas as Vince Neil undergoes a medical procedure. I'm hearing from my sources it's to have his entire voice removed because it sucks so bad now. Have you ever seen this guy sing now? It's the most embarrassing thing ever. I can't believe they're doing a residency. With what? Voice tracking. GTV is next with the Kevin Walsh. Get my app. Search Ferrall. It's badass. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Great job, Frank, Lou, Shake Adams.
Which is a great place to be. Are you in the locker room? Like, you giving like the Any Given Sunday inches Al Pacino speech? Are we there yet?
Oh yeah, I think we've been there. We're gonna have a long talk with Rob today about the 99-199 issue from last week. Like, I just don't get how he is still employed. We got to talk to ownership about that one.
The Smiley Show, only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.